we are on the verge of seeing 3, maybe even 4 interest rates hikes in 2022. This is leading a lot of people that haven't jumped on board to refinance into thinking they are just about to miss out. Not so fast. Refinancing does have its perks, but it is truly not, best for everyone in every single situation. In this week's episode, we're going to discuss when you shouldn't refinance your mortgage to prevent a ultimate mistake. Finally, I want to walk you through when you should and how to use this simple analysis to ensure that this is actually the best thing for you. Here we go.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Hey, what's going on? Hopefully everybody's having a great weekend. I'm gonna tell you, this has been a busy week. I want everyone to know this. I've got a great episode in the near future. Please continue to check out my Financial Mirror streams as they come out, because I'm going to tell you, I've got a good episode coming, and I think it's going to bring a lot of insight and value into your life and possibly some more money in your pocket if you decide to join in. But all in all, it's been a great week. It's been a great weekend, and I hope that yours is the same. Weather's been all over the place. It's been hit or miss. Getting a little cooler out here in Hawaii. I know everyone else is going to say, "Oh, it's still warmer than it is here." Yes, it is. But when you live in a warmer climate, I must say, when it drops to 70s and 60s at night, I mean, it's still cold when your body's not used to it. So hopefully everyone's gotten a great week, and hopefully the weather's not as moody where you're at. But today we are going in and we're going to talk about refinancing, and more importantly, I've done a whole series out there on mortgages. I've talked to loan originators. I've talked to real estate agents. I've got previous episodes. I've talked about how much home can you afford. Like, I've done a lot of episodes, and we've mentioned refinancing a couple times. But today I want to truly talk about, is it a good idea for you to refinance, right? Should you refinance before all these 2022 interest rate hikes begin? And that's what this episode's about. Currently, where we sit at, the Federal Reserve is saying that there's going to be 3 interest rate hikes this year. Now, I've seen others that possibly say this could even be 4. And we really don't know, right? Like, and don't let anyone tell you that they know and they have the secret potion, because they don't really know either. Currently, I think that we are battling the inflation. We're trying to get a little bit of that under control, and that's why interest rate hikes are going to be necessary, in a sense that it can help slow down the amount of people that are going out and buying things, right? Because we kind of got to get the market slowed down. I've done episodes on inflation before. I may do another one in the future, just to give an update on where we currently stand and how things are going. But I've done 2 and one more recently in this current inflation period. And it was kind of funny, because I was looking back at the previous episode, the first inflation, when they were first talking about it for this whole entire thing, and I was like, wow, like, I think it was like 5% consumer price index, but by the time I got to the second episode talking about this same inflationary period, we were at like 6.2% or something. I was like, oh my goodness, I thought that 5 was a lot back then, and now we're at 6. Like, holy cow. And now it's even higher, right? So we'll see. We'll see exactly how this whole thing unfolds. No one really knows. We'll have to wait and all find out together. The first thing I wanted to bring up, if you're watching this live, you can see on the screen. I've just got a couple news articles today. No funny pictures. Just news articles. Trying to keep it, straightforward on how we're going to end up at where this sort of interest rate's going to roll to. But ultimately, Fed is going to raise the rates 3 times this year. This is a Reuters poll that came out. But what I found this article, and this is obviously by someone. I'm not even sure what his credibility is or whatever. But what I wanted just to read his headline, right? This is what the headline says: if the Fed wanted to stop inflation, it would need to hike rates to nearly 6%. Is what some expert out there said, right? And that's huge, right? Moving the interest rates to 6% is huge. Currently home mortgages are for 30 and 20 year fixed rate mortgages are about 3.625 to about 3.375 for a 20 year. It keeps bouncing around, but that's going to 6%. It would be a huge hit to the market in terms of home buying. Currently, before looking at that and talking about how interest rates are now going to be 6%. No, that's just some expert out there, in quotes, saying that. Currently, the prediction is that 30-year rates will hit 4% in 2022. And then go to 4.3% in 2023. Now, those could be extremely under or very low estimates, and they could be higher. I'm not here to tell you like what you should do or when you should do it. All I'm saying is that interest rates are going to go up, okay? And that's why this episode is important, because the question is still going to be out there. Should you refinance before all of this happens if you haven't already? And and with all this commotion of inflation and hikes and all this, it probably can make you feel like you're running out of time. Well, what I want to say is hold on. Don't just jump on the refinance wagon with everyone else. Just because your friends and family's doing it doesn't mean that you should do it. So to be honest, if you haven't refinanced at this point and you're on the cusp, this episode hopefully will bring you just a little bit of knowledge for you to go and look at your situation and see if this is something that you should do, and maybe even tell you something in this episode that leads you to say, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. I'm kind of happy with where I'm at right now, and I'm just gonna roll with that. It's working for me, and that's okay. That's fine. Like not everybody should be refinancing, and I think that's the part that is commonly thrown around and commonly misused, is the fact that so many people hear, well, my friends are doing it, my family's doing it, my coworkers doing it, maybe I should do it, maybe I'm missing out, right? Like a lot of missing out, a lot of FOMO. But that's not what refinancing is for. Everybody's situation is different, and if it was that easy, we would have so many more refinances out there. There were a lot. Now let's be clear, there were a lot of refinancing going on to get lower interest rates. I mean, I did a refinance on one investment property during it, just to go to a lower interest rate, and it came out good for me. So, but that doesn't mean it's for everybody. And the important part is that this is ultimately your decision. I'm not here to advise you on what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is all educational information that you can now use to make a decision for yourself, not me telling you what to do by any means. So the part that I want to begin with and I want to say up front is that the best thing you can do if you're on the edge at any time and any of this is like making you want to refinance or don't want to refinance, maybe just contact your local loan originator, and they could probably help answer some of those more detailed questions about your personal situation. If you come to me as a financial coach and you want a free consultation and possibly set up some appointments to where we can walk through your situation together, I will happily do that. And I will also be bringing in a loan originator to those calls as well, so that we can have that dialogue that says, this is either good or bad for you. So today I want to run through the good, the bad, the ugly of refinancing, and ultimately give you some knowledge into what you could possibly do with your situation to ensure that you're putting yourself in the best possible personal finance decision that you can, right? So first off, when is refinancing bad? So ultimately, I'm going to stick to two things. There's two times when refinancing is not a good thing, okay? And that is, the first off is, if you are trying to refinance to buy something, don't do it. Don't take equity out of your home to buy something, okay? And to be all honest with you, I personally would recommend you to not take equity out of your home to upgrade your home. Now, I'm saying that because I want to provide that blanket statement. Now, there are times out there where you could possibly improve the value of your home. You could add equity to your home by doing this improvement, or this renovation that's going to say, well, I'm going to spend $10,000 of my equity in my home to add $30,000. Well, I mean, everybody's situation is different, and that's the reason why I always say but for blanket reasons, save up the money and just pay for that, right? Like, just pay for that, and then it'll still add the equity to your home, right? But that's the first thing, is don't use it to buy something. Don't use it to buy a new car. Don't use it to pay off your student loan. You're just now got a new loan, right? Like, don't do a refinance to cash out money to buy something. And that was the second thing. Don't use it to pay off other debt. So don't say, well, I'm going to do a cash out refinance, and I'm going to put this into paying off all my debt, and now I can only have my mortgage, that I've just acquired. Well, just stick to the small wins, right? Like, you're paying off all this stuff, you got this debt. Don't refinance just to pay off other debt with debt. Like, I hope that makes sense. Like, I want to say it out loud. I mean, hopefully that's making sense. Don't use debt to pay debt, because you still have debt, right? Like, you still have to pay that mortgage that you just enhanced by now, increasing the value of your mortgage to try to pay up off other debt, right? Don't do it. Stick to, we're going to go through a couple reasons why you should refinance, but don't do it for those two reasons. And those are the two biggest that I see out there that people are doing. So don't do it for those, and you're already in a positive light in my eyes that a refinancing might not be a bad idea for you. So really quick, I've got 3 reasons why you would refinance before the interest rate hikes in 2022, and we're going to run through those. The first one is, do you have an adjustable rate mortgage? Now, adjustable rate is the opposite of a fixed rate, right? That means that when your interest rate for your mortgage is determined based off of the market. It flows with the market. As this interest rate hike goes in the future, we don't know how long it'll last. We don't know how long or how high it'll go. If you have an adjustable rate mortgage, your mortgage payments are about to go up. Like I hope you realize that. It's going to rise and fall. You've probably been paying a really cheap mortgage for the past couple of years as the mortgage rates have dropped so much. Your adjustable rate mortgage has probably been beneficial to you. Now, that's where, switching to this fixed rate mortgage at this very moment could be beneficial to improving your finances. You kind of have squeezed all the juice out of the orange for the low rates on your adjustable rate mortgage. Also an ARM, you'll see ARM out there. So adjustable rate mortgage. What you can now see happen is, as the interest rates go up, so is your mortgage. So a refinance, you can refinance into a fixed rate mortgage, and all of a sudden you're now going to be able to lock in a rate at which you're going to stay at, meaning consistency. We want consistency in finances. We want to know how much our bills are going to be. So, how can you stay under 25% of your take-home pay with your home if we don't know how high the mortgage rates are going to go? We don't know how long they're going to be inflated or how long they're going to be increased or whatever. So it's important to know locking in a fixed rate mortgage could be extremely beneficial to you. So if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, might be worth looking into to go ahead and refinance. Another reason that you would want to refinance right now would be if you could still potentially reduce a high interest rate to a lower interest rate. If you can drop 1 to 2%, there may be some value to you. Anything below that, it's probably not going to be in your best interest. Okay. So ultimately, everyone's circumstance is different, and interest rate alone is not a reason to refinance, right? It's just a great starting point to look at and see, is this something I should be even pursuing or looking into and asking questions about? It doesn't mean I should start refinancing and be like, yep, I'm getting a lower interest rate, time to refinance. Loan originator told me I'm dropping 1.5%. Yep, I'm down. So we're going with it. We're doing it. Not so fast. That's not what is going to be in your best interest. So big thing to look at is just to say, well, this is my current rate. This is what I can drop to. Let me start looking into it, and you're going to find out shortly how you can determine if that's the best thing for you. The third thing is, can you shorten your mortgage term? So if somehow you ended up with a really long-term mortgage, or let's say you did a 30, but now you're like, well, I did a 30 10 years ago, and I want to force myself to pay a 15-year price, and I will possibly get a lower interest rate than I had, and all these things, all these good things and reasons, and I had an adjustable rate mortgage, and I want to get it down to a 15-year fixed rate. Now we're talking. See how all these things are compounded. These are all good things that are going in your favor, and you should really look into it. Once again, if you had all three of these things, where you had an adjustable rate mortgage, you had a really high interest rate, and you did a long-term 30-year mortgage, and you want to go fixed rate, lower interest rate, shorter term, well, that doesn't mean you should just refinance instantly. There's still calculations that need to be done to see, is it worth it? So, but if you did, think about shortening your mortgage term as, very simply put, you're going to pay off your loan faster. If you have a 15-year mortgage, you can pay that 15-year off faster. This may be worth it to you, depending on how many years you have left in your mortgage. Let's say you have 25 years left on your 30-year mortgage. Maybe worth it to drop to the 15. Get a lower interest rate, potentially. Get a you might have a little higher payment, but you can afford it. 5 years ago, I'm sure you make more money now than you made 5 years ago. But moving into a shorter term is going to help progress you through your loan faster, and you're going to own your home much quicker. This is where we want to be. If you can do this and get a lower rate, this could be a perfect combination, like a 1-2 punch knockout, like you're ready to move on to true financial freedom at that point. The thing to remember is that what you could afford, and I said this, but I want to say it again because I don't think I put enough emphasis on it. What you could afford 5 plus years ago has probably changed. This could mean that you drop, a 20 or 25 year left on your loan down to 15 and get a lower rate. That's a win-win, right? So it's important to see that every situation is different, but if you can drop your mortgage term and your mortgage rate down, that's a win-win, and it's potentially something that you should look into. Now, how do you tell? The only way to truly tell if you should refinance or not is to conduct a break-even analysis. You can also see it called a refinance calculator or whatever, but there's tons of calculators out there. The one that I've currently got up is NerdWallet's refinance calculator. I think it just gives a nice visual, so I thought that I would use it. There's many out there. There's many ways to do this, but ultimately, this is what you need to do if you want to decide, do I or do I not refinance? Okay. So the first thing you need to do is you need to take how much you currently owe on your loan, and then take the percentage changes of the interest rate from your current to new rate. I'm going to walk through a quick like verbal example, and then I'm going to show you one on the screen, and I'll walk through it verbally as well for those that are listening on the podcast. But let's say you have a $100,000 loan, right? And your lower interest rate is going to be about a 1% change. You're going to decrease by 1%. That's $1,000 a year, right? You're going to save $1,000 a year, meaning this $100,000 loan that you got a 1% decrease in your rate saves you $1,000 a year. If the closing costs are $3,000, how many years would it take you to break even? Well, 3 years, right? $1,000 a year, $3,000, break even at 3 years. So this will lead you to ask, do I plan on staying in my house for more than 3 years? Well, if the answer is yes, like this is where I don't even plan on moving in 10 years. Well, refinancing might not be a bad idea, because after 3, you're broke even and everything's profit after that, right? You're saving $1,000 a year, right? Because you're going to continue to save $1,000, but you've got to break even first. 3 years, so year 4, $1,000, boom, I saved $1,000 that year. So if you're planning on staying in at 10 years, you would have saved $7,000, right? So if your answer is no, then back away. Don't refinance. It's totally not worth it. Just stick to what you've got and keep paying your mortgage, okay? The online calculator is easy because you don't have to do all the math and all that, but you just put in what you know. So looking on the screen, we'll do a $500,000 home here in Honolulu, Hawaii, 30-year. Let's say that our original mortgage was 4.25%. And let's say we got it in 2015, okay? Our new mortgage is going to be have a 3.625 interest rate, and we're not cashing out any, and our closing costs are going to be roughly $13,000. What I want you to know is that this exact house would take you 7 years to break even. Okay, 7 years to break even. So my question is, do you plan on staying in this house for 7 years? If the answer is yes, well, it may be worth it to break even or to actually refinance. If the answer is no, back away. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. So let's do an exact 4.625. So let's do that. Let's say we got a let's just do easy numbers. Let's do a 4.5%, $200,000 home, 4.5%, and we're gonna drop to a 3.625. Yep. So we're gonna drop. We'll just drop to 3.5. We'll call it a full percent, right? So for this house, they wouldn't have that high of closing costs. So let's say we'll probably do $5,000 in closing costs. We'll do that. So for this house, for us to do a $200,000 home with a 4.5% interest rate currently, and dropping that to a 3.5% interest rate, $5,000 in closing costs, it would take us about 4 years to break even. So once again, you ask, will I be here for 4 years? If the answer is yes, maybe worth it. If the answer is no, back away. You see how this is done? This is called a break-even analysis, and this is how you decide, is it worth it for me to refinance, or is it not worth it? When you start thinking about refinancing, you start thinking about these interest rate hikes, and you start thinking about what's better for your financial future, it's worth looking into. I'm not ever going to tell someone, don't look at refinance, and refinance is bad. Don't do it. Wrist slap, not going to do all that. What I'm going to tell you is that if you ask me, hey, should I refinance right now? Well, that's an open-ended question. Like, I've got a ton of questions for you. What's your current interest rate? What interest rate has some loan originator told you he could lock in for you? What's your current mortgage at? What was your original loan term? What's the new loan term you're looking at? All these questions are going to lead to me creating an analysis, a break-even analysis, to see maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. And that's what you have to think about. If you're going to hold this thing long term, there's a good chance that if you can drop 1% on your interest rate, there's a good chance that it'll save you money refinancing. If you're not, if this is a stopping point and you are eventually going to upgrade to a home, you're about to, your family's about to grow, whatever, and you're about to have to move into something bigger, you've outgrown your current home, whatever, is probably not going to work out for you. It's probably going to be better to stick to what you got. And if you did a 30-year and you still want to do a 15-year, just pay extra toward principal and pay the rate of a 15-year. Okay. So that's one thing you can do. Refinancing to lower loan term alone is not normally the best idea. Just keep your current loan and pay extra, right? Refinancing to lower a loan term by itself is I can't even think of when that would be a great idea. If you can do it and get a lower interest rate, yeah, like there's some break-even analysis to do, but don't just go refinance just to lower your loan term or just shorten your loan term, because I can't think of a time when I would ever recommend that. So if you can do both, cool. Get a lower interest rate, lower the loan term at the same time. Otherwise, just pay that loan off, pay it at a 15-year rate price, or pay your mortgage, pay the extra toward principal, and get that house paid off sooner. Ultimately, though, refinancing is totally on a personal situation, basis, and every single person is going to be different. So refinancing is a great idea, but it's not always the best idea. Every person's situation is different, and it is important to know that if your situation allows you to refinance and it actually can help you, right now may be the time to pull the trigger, as refinancing rates are still lower. They may not be as low as your current rate, so that's something you need to look into, but there's still a chance that you could lower your rate. If you are on the verge of refinancing and you're not really sure where to look next, that's where a loan originator can help you. So look up local loan originators in your area, also called loan officers, something of that nature. Find someone that you can talk loan specific with. If you still are in contact with your real estate agent, I'm sure they can point you in the direction of some loan originators to actually get you on the right track and get some of those questions answered, because they can sort of tell you more about the current market you're in and what those rates look like. So these loan originators are professionals. They can give you the rates. They can give you the estimates on your closing costs. They can pretty much give you everything you need to create this break-even analysis. You can come in and put all this information in, and then that'll help you perform an accurate break-even analysis to see, is this worth it, before you actually begin to proceed to refinance. So finally, if you are ready to take control of finances and you want someone to help you and be with you every step of the way, a financial coach is a wonderful thing that can truly change your financial life, right? I serve as a financial coach and I'd love to be yours. So go to thefinancialmirror.org/contact and fill out the contact form, and I will be in touch with you. You'll get a free consultation. We'll go over whatever your financial needs are, and then we will discuss how to best approach your financial goals. Finally, as always, if you want to give a little extra dose of support to the stream, go to thefinancialmirror.org/merch and pick you out some awesome Financial Mirror gear and give that to your friends, family, co-workers as gifts, or, just because hey, I was just thinking about you. Here's a Financial Mirror shirt. Boom. Look at that. Spreading the word. I truly appreciate everybody tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this with the people that you love in your life that want to improve their finances. If you are listening to this on the podcast, leave a 5-star review and a written review, as those do go a long way. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, that 5-star does help so much in getting the word out. Till next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.